Hello everyone. I would like to extend my sincere greetings to all of you. I am Loren Miyasaki from the Enmanji Buddhist Temple, welcoming you to our December Shotsukihoyo Service. This memorial service honors family members and friends whose anniversary of their passing is in the month of December. Today is an expression of our deep appreciation for those who we are so grateful for. I will continue the service by reading the names of the December honorees. Yasuko Kamioka, Makio Kawaoka, Hasujiro Matsumoto, Seikio Matsuoka, Chiji Oka, Sakuuyamon Okumura, Nao Otamura, Toshimatsu Otani, Yoshiyuki Sen, Harue Otani, Chieko Sugioka, Scott Suroshi Ruru, Shizuo Ueda, Toshito Ueda, Wataru Yamakawa, Tom Yasuda, George Hiroshi Yoshioka, Paul Otani, Tom Mukaida, Vicky Matoba Epling, Eileen Hamamoto, George Kazumi Matsumoto, Sakuzo Mike Okumura, Chester Hamamoto, George Motoyuki Kikuchi, Sam Sumio Yamasaki, Sherry Yokoyama, Hitoshi Kobayashi, Norman Olson, Alice Masao Okubara, Don Morikawa, Hikotaro Seiko, Makoto Ito, Jinsaburo Sujihara, Hiroshi Taniguchi, Yoshio Yasuda, Yonezo Kikuchi, Walter Rittenauer, Marcel Tabata, and Kei Matsuda. Namo Dabutsu, Namo Dabutsu, Namo Dabutsu, Namo Dabutsu. Our guest minister for today's service is Reverend Brian Nagata. Reverend Nagata is a Tokudo ordained minister and has been a guest speaker at many of the Buddhist Churches of America temples. He has served twice as the editor of the BCA's publication, The Wheel of Dharma. For the past 20 years, Reverend Nagata has been involved with Bukkyo Dendo Kyokai, known as BDK, which is the Society for the Promotion of Buddhism. Reverend Nagata will now continue the service with the reading of the Threefold Refuge. Today's chanting will be Jusei.
The Threefold Refuge. Difficult is it to receive a human form, now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Dharma of the Buddha, now we hear it. If we do not cross over to the truth in the present life, in what life shall we cross over? Let us with sincerity and true reverence take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we, together with all sentient beings, awaken to the great way of enlightenment and to the unsurpassed intent of Amida Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we, together with all sentient beings, enter the storehouse of the Dharma, becoming like the wisdom ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we, together with all sentient beings, become units in true accord, in harmony with all things. The peerless, profound, and wondrous Dharma is rare to encounter, even in many hundreds and thousands of kalpas. Now we are privileged to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
At this time, we will hear a Dharma talk given by Reverend Nagata.
Please join me in a moment of reflection. More numerous than the sands of the Ganges River are the Buddhas who watch over us night and day. Hearing this, my heart is filled with peace and thankfulness. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Good morning. I hope everyone is keeping healthy and safe. I'm sorry that we're not able to join together in person this morning. I have been looking forward to joining together with you so that I could see your refurbished Onaijin altar and enjoy a delicious lunch with each of you today. But with this COVID pandemic, our lives and our existences have been forever changed. Boy, what a year it's been. Has there been any other year like 2020 in our lifetime? First, this coronavirus, then the wildfires, and then the even wilder elections. I'm glad that the elections are now over, and hopefully peace and decency can return to our communities and to our lives. But looking back a mere 10 months ago, who could have ever imagined we would be in this situation we now find ourselves? Who had ever heard of words like coronavirus, social distancing, and contact tracing? Did you know that the coronavirus is not even considered an organism? The coronavirus isn't even considered alive by most scientists, and it doesn't even have a brain. But sad to say, it has affected nearly every aspect of our lives and the whole human world. How could one tiny virus cause so much suffering for millions throughout the world? It is so unfortunate that more than 200,000 Americans have died from this virus, including fellow Nembutsu followers, perhaps people that you know, and even several of my friends and acquaintances. Standing 6 feet apart, constantly washing our hands, wearing face masks, limits on how and when we can move about, homeschooling, doctors, nurses, and medical professionals working long hours trying to save lives, and then some of them even dying from the virus. What a challenged and difficult world we now live in. Everyone must deal with ever-changing and confusing restrictions and regulations when going out to eat, going to shop, or where to stand in line. So many stores, shops, and businesses and restaurants throughout the world have had to close due to this coronavirus. On the BCA temple scene, probably for the first time since the end of World War II, we had no Obon festivals and bazaars this year. And here at Enmanji, hundreds, if not thousands of your friends and fellow county residents were not able to enjoy your delicious chicken teriyaki this year. And don't we all wish we owned stock in companies making hand wipes, vinyl gloves, face masks, and Clairol hair dye? Sadly, millions have lost their jobs, businesses, and livelihoods. Our 21st century world seems to be in shambles, and so many people are at a loss of what to do. But if you look at the history of mankind, there have been pandemics since the beginning of humankind. Most recently, in the last century, there was the Spanish flu epidemic of 1918, which was thought to have affected 1/3 of the world's population, with an estimated 20 to 50 million people dying worldwide, including 675,000 here in America. Hopefully, this COVID-19 pandemic will be under control by early next year, and the loss of life throughout the world can be minimized as much as possible. Shinran Shonin, our founder, lived at a time in Japan when there was widespread economic and social disparity between the classes. There were famines and wars, the aristocracy and government were out of touch with society, and there was a widespread lack of spiritual direction and hope for the common people, most affected by the uncertainties of 12th century Japan. And here we are, 800 years later, but have we made any advances as human beings? Our 21st century world is still facing widespread economic disparity between the classes. America is the wealthiest society in the world, and yet during this COVID pandemic, it's estimated that up to 54 million Americans won't have enough to eat, including 10 million children. Sadly, this means 1 in 6 Americans won't have enough to eat tonight. Here in America, as well as in many other countries of the world, we still have serious issues between differing ethnic opinions and religious communities. Most certainly, we find so many people struggling to find spiritual peace and comfort in their lives. Shinran's message has been a source of hope and comfort to the people of the world through the centuries. He clarified the Nembutsu path and the promise of Amida Buddha that each one of us are assured of birth in the Pure Land, no matter the karmic circumstances of our human life. There is no judgment, there is no discrimination. There will be no one left behind because of different views or having committed a wrongdoing. If there were such conditions or restrictions for entering the Pure Land, then for sure I would be waiting at the back door forever. And so it is, even 800 years later, Shinran's teachings are still relatable to us now living amidst this COVID-19 pandemic in the 21st century. Have you heard of the term akunin? This is a term that Shinran used to denote himself. Akunin means a hopeless and ignorant person who, due to their ignorance, can do anything. As humans, much of the time, we do things with ulterior motives in mind, consciously or unconsciously, just to satisfy our endless craving egos. For instance, I will praise someone because I want him to be my friend. Or I will do a favor for someone because I know I will be rewarded. Or I will be nice to so-and-so because I hope they will come to like me and maybe someday marry me. Or I will befriend so-and-so because they are popular, and then I will look popular as well. For parents, I'm sure you feel you want your child to do good in school so that you will look good as a parent. Or, I try to go to the temple every week so that I will not run into bad luck. These are all just simple examples of real-life situations that a hopelessly ignorant akunin like me will do for my own personal benefit. And I'm sure there are countless more foolish things that I do every moment of my life. Unfortunately, I am not capable of doing anything that does not involve satisfying my ego. So for the hopeless and ignorant Brian Nagata, how am I dealing with this COVID pandemic? How am I going to survive? There is a Japanese song that was sung by a famous Japanese singer whose father is a Jodo Shinshu priest, and the Reverend Father wrote the words to the famous song sung by his son. A stanza in the song goes, "Even though I know I shouldn't do it, I can't stop. Wakatte mo tomerarenai." This singer actually despised having to sing that stanza in the song, but it became a very popular song in Japan. But this is the meaning of Shinran's akunin, the hopeless and ignorant being that we are. Even though I know I shouldn't do it, I can't stop. That is definitely me. As you can tell, I love to eat, but I know if I overeat, I will get a stomachache, or if I eat too much sushi and udon, it will make my sugar levels rise. But even with these realizations in the back of my mind, I still eat to my heart's content anyways. This is the foolish being that I am, and this is the ignorant, foolish being that Shinran is talking about. I'm also diabetic, and I know I should stay away from sweet desserts. But before the pandemic, who in their right mind could just walk away from the dessert counter at Grayton or River Rock Casino? Inevitably, I must always choose 2 or 3 pieces of delicious desserts when I see them. I justified this action by thinking, well, if I die tonight, at least I would have enjoyed these sweets. But the fact of the matter is that it might be these very sweets that caused my death. But even the possibility of dying from eating these sweets does not stop a fool like me, an akunin like me. This hopeless, foolish being that I am is really nothing to brag about, but at the same time, it is this foolishness that guarantees me that the Amida Buddha is always embracing the hopeless me. The changing and uncertain world we are experiencing now due to the COVID pandemic has caused so many people to panic because their personal comfort zones have been challenged or even destroyed in some cases. This foolish Brian Nagata needs to open my eyes and realize the reality of my existence amidst this pandemic. For most of us, we realize that life is full of challenges and inconveniences, which are most of the time caused by change. Humans hate change, and that is why we suffer. This COVID-19 virus has drastically changed and challenged each of our lives and our existence. And so it's only natural that our self-centered minds, which had become so comfortable and satisfied with our pre-COVID life, would be in an uproar now. But the current world situation cannot be helped. We have no choice. The threat of COVID is everywhere on this planet. But this COVID-19 pandemic has provided me with a good opportunity to take off my blinders, covering my eyes and my heart, to see the real world that I live within. I am sure all of you are justifiably worried about the state of our world and doing your best to keep healthy and safe. However, we must be careful so that worry does not overtake sensibility and reality and creates additional obstacles to understanding what is real and now. American humorist and newspaper columnist Irma Bombeck wrote, "Worry is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but never gets you anywhere." With this darn COVID pandemic, our lives have surely been disrupted and inconvenienced. But as Buddhists, we know that everything is in a constant state of change. Nothing stays the same except the reality of change. In this life of constant change, there is nothing we can do but to accept change. I hate change, but at the same time, change is for certain and is as real as my existence. Accepting the changes that have come about in our lives and in this world because of the COVID virus will help each of us to endure these confusing days. Unfortunately, it seems that this virus is once again surging throughout our country. Will thousands continue to die every day from COVID? Hopefully, all of us can stay safe and healthy and continue to join together to listen to the teachings and share in our Dharma friendships when things open up again. Hopefully, the world will soon find a solution to control this terrible COVID-19. This coronavirus has thrown all of us out of our comfort and safety zones, but at the same time, it is most certainly a wake-up call for each of us. What is it that we can learn from COVID-19? Enduring through this pandemic gives us the opportunity to recall the words of Daimyo Shonin, where she wrote in his letters on white ashes. Daimyo Shonin said, "In the morning we may enjoy radiant health, but by evening we may be no more than white ashes." What could be truer than these very words? COVID-19 has awakened us to the Buddha's most important basic teaching, that life is change, constant change. We must ride out the storm of change that this COVID virus has thrown at us. We must adjust and rein in our egos and temptations for the sake of our existence. We have no choice. This is what change is all about. This is what life is. This COVID virus has shown us that everything is indeed subject to change, for good or bad. This is the great and at the same time the painful reality that has been thrown in our faces this year. Hopefully, living through this pandemic will instill some wisdom on the world. I heard one politician being interviewed say that the events of this COVID pandemic have shown us that the world is indeed interrelated. I wonder to myself, is he now just realizing the interrelatedness of all life and existence on this planet? Lucky for us, the Buddha has been sharing this reality with us for the past 2,600 years. I truly hope that people will come to realize that we are all in this together. No one can survive on their own. I hope everyone will do your best to remain strong, stay healthy and safe throughout this pandemic. Throughout our lives, we all face challenges, but whatever the circumstances you may face, never give up. I look forward to joining together with all of you, hopefully next year. And in honor of all those who have lost their lives due to this pandemic, please continue to look after your family, your friends, and your fellow Sangha members, and live each day to the fullest. And most of all, remember that we are all in this together. Thank you so much for joining with me this morning. Please take good care, always keep strong, and be on your guard. I hope everyone will have a thankful Thanksgiving, a wonderful holiday season, and Oshogatsu New Year's too. In our hearts and minds, let us remember to give thanks for all the blessings of life we receive each day. Please cherish each moment of your life together with Namo Amida Butsu, and be sure to wear your mask and wash your hands at all times. Please join me in a moment of final reflection this morning. As the sun shines upon our earth, awakening into growth the seeds that lie dormant in the soil, may the light of wisdom shine into our minds and truly awaken us to our ignorance, and by this insight inspire us to strive for a life of deeper understanding and shinji. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida, Namo Amida. Thank you.
This concludes our December Shotsukihoyo Memorial Service. Thank you once again to Reverend Brian Nagata for your inspiring Dharma message. We would also like to thank Mr. Daryl Yagi for starting the service with the ringing of the bell at the Kansho. Thank you to Mrs. Linda Miyasaki for the flowers and offerings. And thank you to Mr. Kevin Iwamura for the videography and editing of the service. If you would like to make a donation to the temple, you are welcome to do so through the Enmanji website. Thank you all very much for viewing this service. Hope to see you soon. Please stay safe and well during these challenging times. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.